When the Nintendo Switch came out back in 2017, not many people gave it the opportunity in the media to actually be as big as it's gotten right now at this point. Now the Nintendo Switch is over 103 million units sold, and things don't seem to be slowing down as it's done something again that they failed to do with the predecessors of the system, especially in the home console space. So we're going to go ahead and get into that, but before we do, what's up everyone, OJ here, welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first as we discuss this and a lot more in this video. Now, what am I getting to here? Well, the Nintendo Switch, the February MPD, once again, Nintendo was able to restock a bit better here and was able to be the #1 system sold for the February MPD. Now, the February MPD, what is that? That is the US console sales. What sells the best? Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. They line them all up, they get the numbers there, and whoever sells the best wins, you know, air quotes on there, the NPD. And the Nintendo Switch has been a NPD beast since it launched. Had a few kind of stretches to where it's kind of been the second system or the third system depending on how things are going with the stock, but for the most part it's dominated the NPD since it launched back in 2017, and that's something that nobody really gave Nintendo a shot to do, just because they felt, or at least a lot of people felt, that Nintendo was a gimmick win when it came to the Wii, right? Outside of the Wii, Nintendo's never had a home console to sell over 100 million. Now, Nintendo's had multiple dedicated portables that sell over 100 million with the Nintendo DS, and they also had the Game Boy as well. Plus, if you look at it, the GBA was on pace to do that. I mean, it sold like 80 million in like 4 years or something like that. So people really didn't give the Nintendo Switch a legitimate shot to be as successful as it is. But I think that what it's doing right now is probably one of Nintendo's most impressive feats when it comes down to it. Because if you look at it, the 5 to 6 years that the Nintendo Wii was relevant before Nintendo put out the Wii U, look at what happened towards the end. Nintendo really just said, okay, we're moving on to the next thing. The sales kind of dipped down, and it seemed like it was lightning in a bottle. That was the word, or that was the phrase that some people put out there. But I think that with the Nintendo Switch and these NPD sales, you consistently see the Nintendo Switch not get a lot of the biggest games out there, like the Elden Rings or like the Call of Duties or Battlefields. It really doesn't have that US home console support that you see on other platforms, but the fact that Nintendo is still able to outsell the competition like that is actually really crazy, and to the point to where I don't think Nintendo's ever done that in the history of their system when it comes to home consoles. Now, the DS was obviously a beast and it did some crazy things, but that was before the smartphone market really hit. Now, we saw in the 3DS era, the smartphone market hit, so I think it kind of took a toll on Nintendo's dedicated portable sales. So you really never had a system that was as dominant as the Switch has been, considering the NPD sales, considering the home console sales, considering everything that's going on. And many people felt that the Switch wouldn't be able to stack up because it didn't get the games that I talked about. But once again, we're seeing that the Switch is still even going strong here. Year 5 plus, it's not slowing down. People are still wanting to buy the system. There's still good games coming out for it. So to me, that's one of the most impressive things that I've seen Nintendo do, is able to keep the momentum with the Switch. And so many people talk about, oh, well, look at the Steam Deck is coming, and oh, it doesn't have the graphics for this or the graphics for that, or frame rate this, frame rate that. And then every single month, another NPD win. Every single month, another NPD win. Every single month, more games being sold. Every single month, new games being announced. Every single month, Nintendo has like the hype of Nintendo Directs. People talk about when's the next thing. People talk about the games that are coming out. It's something that I just haven't seen. Someone who's covered Nintendo pretty much since the beginning of the Wii era. I started covering Nintendo for a professional type of thing. Even before then, of course, I was all in the industry, watching all the different stuff from like game trailers back in the day. I was reading the magazines, Game Pro, Game Revolution, all that type of stuff, Nintendo Power. So I've been covering for a very long time, or being interested in the sales and business side and seeing what's selling and seeing what's doing well and the reviews and all that for a very long time. And I think that this is probably the best position that I've seen Nintendo be in for a very long time, because it feels like this is going to be sustained. It doesn't feel like, okay, you have like the family types, right? Or you have like the grandpa at the homes doing the different bowling and all that. It feels like it's sustained. It feels like it's something that's solid, almost like how Sony has with PlayStation, to where they can put out pretty much any PlayStation main system and it might start off slow, but eventually people will pick it up. People will always buy the system regardless, like the PlayStation 3, because if you look at it, that was the worst selling main PlayStation home console, and it still pretty much sold about 90 million units after a very slow start and a lot of different revisions and everything. And I think that the Nintendo Switch is the start of the base in terms of the platform, the genesis that they can work from and kind of build off of. And I think that's the most impressive thing, because it's not a gimmick. It's not a, okay, this is just something that we can only do for here, like the Wii U or like the Wii. It's something that's sustained. It's something that's going to continue. And it's something that we're already seeing other people copy them quite a bit with the Steam Deck, right? We also have that, and we have other systems that are going to come out too as well. These PC hybrids that all see what the Switch is doing and how that base to where you can play on the go and also at home is pretty much the future when it comes down to it, as the mobile tech gets better and better and better. So I see Nintendo taking this even further with the next Switch, and I see some really crazy things happening, especially when that drops sometime, I'm thinking in 2024. So what are your thoughts when it comes to the Nintendo Switch and how it is once again a bestseller in the MPD here? It was the MPD sales, it was the Nintendo Switch, then the Xbox Series X and S, and second the PS5 in third. And of course, they're dealing with a lot of problems with the chip shortage and everything. Everyone is. But what are your thoughts on all this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, we've got another RPG trailer, a new one for a game that I'm really excited for, with Soul Hackers 2. The second trailer, Atlas just put it out recently, and it's really good, and it shows off a lot of style within the characters in there, and they introduced brand new characters as well. Iron Mask, Xenon, and Ichigo Honda as well. And if you guys want to check out all the different information on these different characters and what they like and their organization and who they're voiced by, you can definitely do so on Gematsu. But what I like about it is just the design, the unique and kind of awkward, almost kind of goth design of some of these characters, and just the interesting palettes that they use for the colors and just like the combat. SMT5 was a game that I played. I mean, I always loved the SMT games. I loved the Persona games, but it wasn't until SMT5 so I really said, wow, like I really like the Shin Megami Tensei franchise. I mean, Persona before that was always something that I played and thought that was great, and I do love Persona, but it wasn't until SMT5 so I really got integrated into it, even though I had played and beat a lot of the other Persona and also Shin Megami Tensei games. So Soul Hackers to me just looks absolutely incredible, and it's so cool to see them actually go into like not just Persona or Shin Megami Tensei, but actually Soul Hackers, which is another spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei brand. So to see them do so many different things, Persona 5, also SMT 5, now Soul Hackers, and having a full console game, that is just incredible to see that they're doing something outside of that. And like I said, the game looks really good. I'm loving the new characters. I'm loving the style of it. I'm loving how the gameplay looks nice and fluid, and it looks sleek as well. So this is great to see. Soul Hackers 2 is one of my most anticipated games that's coming out this year. Definitely one of my most anticipated RPGs. Remember, guys, this game is coming out for the PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam August 25th in Japan, August 26th worldwide. So it's going to be here before you even know it. There is no Switch version at this point, which I did discuss already. Check out my video where I talked about it along with the Fire Emblem leak as well, with the original video that I did on Soul Hackers 2. So if you want my full thoughts on that, that's there. But either way, I've got a PS5, so I'll probably be picking it up on there, and it should be a lot of fun. I think that it's going to be a really good game, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out and what happens in this Soul Hackers 2 game. After so many years, Soul Hackers 2 is finally getting some more love, so that's so good to see at this point, man. So what do you guys think when it comes to Soul Hackers 2 and the second trailer, the new characters being introduced? How do you feel about how everything's playing out? Are you guys planning on picking this up, waiting to see some more? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here. It looks like Nintendo is halting shipments of the Switch to Russia, and they also shared a statement as well. So Nintendo Everything had the beat on this one. So Nintendo confirmed in a statement that it's put a pause on product shipments to Russia. Additionally, the eShop in that country, quote, is currently under maintenance, following the suspension of transactions in Russian rubles by the payment provider. Now, all of this ties into the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Earlier in the week, Nintendo delayed Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, citing recent world events. Now, it's currently unclear when the title will be receiving a new release date. Now, as for the latest developments with the shipping, Nintendo provided Eurogamer with the following statement, quote, "We have decided to suspend shipping all Nintendo products to Russia for the foreseeable future. This is due to considerable volatility surrounding the logistics of shipping and distributing physical goods. In addition, Nintendo eShop in Russia is currently under maintenance following the suspension of transactions in Russian rubles by the payment provider." Now, Eurogamer also points out that Nintendo has pulled certain marketing material. As one example, a trailer that previously went online has been removed from YouTube. So this brings about quite a number of potential situations that could be happening. I mean, we do know that Microsoft, or I know for sure, yeah, Microsoft and Sony have also pulled their sales of new goods there. Are they going to pull out when it comes to the physical goods as well if they haven't already done so? And if you're looking at it just from like an economical standpoint, the Russian ruble has tanked in value because of all the sanctions and different things that are happening. So one thing that I would love to see for this is a resolution ASAP. I would love for everything when it comes to the war and stuff to just come to an end and peace talks can happen, just so things can kind of just stop being crazy at this point. It really makes me sad that all of this has to happen because there's a lot of innocent gamers over there in Russia that had nothing to do with this, and it's not fair to them at that point. So I'm really hoping that this can come to an end. Things can kind of go back to normal when it comes down to it. It is what it is. Hopefully things can get resolved sometime soon, and Nintendo and these companies can say, okay, things have kind of calmed down a bit. We can kind of go back in, and the Russian gamers can be able to kind of play and be able to buy the Switch or buy Xbox or PlayStation or whatever the case is. So what are your thoughts on this, guys, when it comes down to it? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, the House of the Dead remake on the Nintendo Switch just had a really cool physical edition announced or revealed, and I pre-ordered it ASAP because it looks absolutely incredible. And the game itself, I actually covered it because I felt that it looked really good too, and it wasn't really on my radar before. So the House of the Dead remake is getting a special physical release on the Nintendo Switch, which was recently revealed. Various retailers have started to put the listings for the game up. Microids will be in charge of the distribution and will be offering fans to get their hands on a limited edition. Copies will include a lenticular box, a pair of character stands, and a sticker sheet. Now, the House of the Dead remake is slated for an April 7th release on the eShop. However, this is the first time that we have heard about a physical copy of the game. Now, here's a little bit more information on House of the Dead. Since it is an old school franchise, a lot of you guys have probably heard about it from the arcade days, but you don't really know what this game is about. So let's go over that just a little bit here. So the House of the Dead remake is a remade version of the game introduced in 1997 in arcade platform. A classic arcade rail shooter receives a whole new entourage of gameplay changes to suit modern gaming standards. The key features include hordes of undead monstrosities and a fast-paced rail shooter, true to the original gameplay, well-known arcade classic with modern graphics and controls, plus multiple endings. And of course, you guys can check out the retail edition of the game and pre-orders. It is available on Amazon. We don't know exactly when those pre-orders will be shipping with it. It might not be the same day as the actual release of the game, April 7th, but I just want that physical copy of it. I think that it's going to be a really good remake of the game. It looks so much better from the first trailer that I saw to the most recent trailer. They really took their time and making sure that this is, graphically speaking and gameplay wise, looks like a very solid and good remake of that game. Now, there has been some talk about some type of peripheral, maybe a light gun, but I haven't seen anything like that. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So it seems like they're probably going to have to rely upon the gyro aiming in this game to get that feel from the arcade, because using the analog stick isn't really going to be up to snuff at the end of the day for a light gun shooter. So we'll see what happens going forward in the future. I just remember playing so many of these light gun arcade games in the actual arcades back in the day, and then having a nice little transition that wasn't as good, but on the Wii back in the day as well, playing a lot of the games like with the IR pointer with the Wii remote, a lot of light gun games like Dark Side Chronicles and Dead Space and everything. So it's pretty cool to see that they're kind of going back to that a little bit on the Nintendo Switch here, but I'm really hoping the controls can really just feel great, and I think HD Rumble would be absolutely incredible for this type of game, considering the amount of weapons and what you can do there with like zombies coming to bite you and stuff like that. So should be good. But what are your thoughts when it comes to everything that I talked about here with House of the Dead, the remake, the physical edition, and everything else that we discussed with the Switch, Soul Hackers, and the Shipments? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click the notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.